Hello everybody, welcome back to Read and Reread. My name is Angelia and today I'm going to do the Another Random Questions book tag, or I've also seen it called Yet Another Random Questions book tag. I'm not sure, I'm gonna have to double check on what the originator titled this. The creator of this tag was James Holder, and I will link his video below and I'll double check what he named the tag, and you can take a look at his original video. And I have the questions right here. There's kind of quite a few of them, so I'm going to try not to make this last all day long, but these are very fun questions, so I wanted to do this tag. Nobody specifically tagged me. I'm just responding to one of those general, if you've never done this, tags. And I do want, before I get into the questions, I want to model and present for your viewing pleasure my new dorky t-shirt from the public library. They released 2 new designs, and I am seriously tempted to go get the other one too. But I really love this new nerdy shirt promoting the library. All right, let's do the questions. The first question is, what is a book you don't want to admit you hate or dislike? All right, there is nothing I would not admit. I am completely freewheeling in my opinions about what I do not like, and you can agree with me or disagree. I think I've pretty much always been this way, but now in middle age I have less shame and I'm almost completely out of what's left in my basket to give. So I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like. Okay, so but I know I've talked about this author before. It might have been the unpopular opinions book tag from way back, but I'm gonna go with Hemingway here. I just really dislike Hemingway. Now I have not read a lot of or any of the novels. I have read, yes, I have. I've read The Old Man and the Sea, and I seriously did not like it at all. In fact, I I didn't exactly read it either. Here's the story. Maybe this video is going to be long, but this was a high school story. I was supposed to read The Old Man and the Sea and write a paper about it. And so I started it and I could tell it was just abominable. So instead, I read the introduction, wrote a great paper, and got an A, and completely sidestepped actually reading the book. Now, I don't recommend this, especially as a retired educator, to any young folk out there, but it did work on that particular occasion, and it was warranted because it was Ernest Hemingway. I've read a lot of the short fiction for various classes that I took, and I never met a Hemingway story that I liked, and so why would I, torment myself by reading the novels? And I have no intentions of reevaluating my position on this or trying to read any more Hemingway. There you go. Are there authors whose work you haven't gotten on with that you want to revisit? Now, and I will tell you, I did not do a lot of preparation for this, so these questions are hitting me pretty fresh. I've seen some other people's videos and I liked it, so I picked it out, but I have not pre-planned my answers here whatsoever. Author I might revisit because it didn't hit me right. Maybe Faulkner. Because that's another one that I was introduced to around the same time as Hemingway, and I won't say that I despised it. I at the time it just didn't do a lot for me, or I couldn't see what the big deal was. But I was a kid in school, and I had to read As I Lay Dying, and which we called As I Die Reading. But now I am seeing that book, it's on some, it's in some group that I'm in. It might be the banned books group at the library, but it's coming up in this year. So I am going to reread it and we'll see. Also, I have enjoyed some of his short fiction. So, and I haven't read any of the most acclaimed of his novels. So if you have a Faulkner suggestion for me, please let me know in the comments. I feel that I am open to reevaluating my general boredom with Faulkner based on, you know, scanty evidence. Okay, the next one. Number 3, is your TBR outlined or pantsed? I had no idea what this question meant. I was so confused because in my experience, the word pantsed as a verb is the prank where you run up on somebody and pull their pants down. And I thought, what? So I had to look at the video, the original video, and where James explains, okay, so he's talking about, do you have a planned TBR, like an outline for the month or what's coming up next? And pants is mood reading, like reading on a whim. What do I feel like reading next? So this is an evolution question for me because I used to be completely pantsed or whimsical. Like I just read and then what did I feel like reading next? And I would kind of bounce between time periods and genres and things like that. But once I started participating on BookTube, I started getting into all of the different monthly themes and readathons and things like that. So that kind of brought in the element of planning or outlining. So now I'm kind of a hybrid because if you've watched a number of my videos, you notice that I do participate in a lot of monthly events, but I often just dabble or do a little bit. I don't really follow all of the prompts and the outlines and the grids and things like that. So I mix and match. I like to participate, but I like to leave space for things that I just randomly feel like reading. And I often change my mind and I drop things and replace things. And so I'm kind of a theme influenced whimsical. So what would I do? I have an outline, but then I just pants my outline, something like that. The next question is, what is your favorite BookTube reading event? I cannot narrow that down to just one. I really love these monthly different themes. Some of my favorite ones, let me think. I really loved March of the Mammoths because it encouraged me to get off the stick and try one of the larger books that I have been holding back on. And it also got me into trying to read 2 books at the same time, and it worked. So I found out something new in my, I don't know, my sphere of capabilities. So I really like that. Some of the thematically what ones I love Shorty September, Victober. Oh, what else? Oh, Jane Austen July. I love that one. I like Pride Month. I don't know. I guess I like every one that I participate in is because I really like that one. So that was a really hedgy answer, but sorry, not sorry. How many works does it take to decide if you like or dislike an author's work? Ah, okay. How many? The number that pops immediately into my mind is 2. But it might not be a hard and fast rule. So here's kind of what I'm thinking. If a book, say a new book comes out and it's got a lot of buzz, and so I decide to read it, but I don't really like it, I probably will not declare that I therefore don't like that author. I would probably read at least one more book if it also got solid reviews and a lot of recommendations from sources that I tend to get along with as far as reading taste. So I would give somebody 2 chances, and if it still was just another strikeout, then I probably decide that person's just not for me. On rare occasions, I might start a book and it's just so awful for me that I just have no further interest at all in that author. I'm trying to think if anybody comes to mind in that category. And then the other thing that happens sometimes is I read a book, love it, and then the next one I read is the dud. And then I have to decide, am I just done with that person or will I give them one more chance? And I will. But the number is still 2 because if you dud on me twice, I'm done with you. That's just it. So an example from popular fiction of this phenomenon would be Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I read Daisy Jones and the Six, and I just read it kind of randomly. It had come out, it had gotten some good reviews, but it was before I was busy on BookTube, and I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I liked the style. It was like the interview pieces and all of that. And so when her next book came out, which was the one about the surfers and all, the Malibu Rising, was that what it's called? I'll double check. And that was such a resounding dud for me. Like, that book was like, I felt like I was reading one of those books that they used, when they used to make the book after the movie, like it was a write-up of an ABC movie of the week or something. It was just so melodramatic and soap opera-ish and boring, and I was so disappointed. And so I cut her dead, and I haven't tried to read anything else by this author, and I might be in the wrong. You can tell me if I'm overlooking some hidden gem, but it was so disappointing that was the end of the road. All right, the next question. Which of the seven deadly sins do you experience the most? Okay, I'm not a biblical scholar, so I probably cannot name all seven. I do not have a church-going background. And so, I don't know, gluttony? I don't know. Sometimes I eat too big of a dessert. Number 7, which of the Olympian gods is your favorite? Let's see. Let's go with Aphrodite, goddess of love, lust, pleasure, things like that. I don't know. She has a really cool name, and she doesn't hold back. Gotta admire her. Number 8. What is your go-to special event meal? Maybe like a Mediterranean platter, and I'm thinking of I've had this in a lot of places, but there's a local restaurant that does a really good one here. So I'm talking about a plate that has, you got to have the hummus, some good naan, the falafel, the tabbouleh, the baba ganoush, all of the good, and the sauces and the dips. A runner-up maybe would be like just a really great Tex-Mex platter with really good guacamole and spicy pico de gallo, and I don't know. I mean, I like things that have lots of different flavors and parts and dips and spicy parts. Oh, and there's got to be a really good dessert, something chocolate, dark, deep, gooey dessert. Yeah, so that I can exercise my gluttony. This is pretty random. Do you attend local celebrations, fairs, festivals, markets, etc.? Sure, yes. There's a lot of them here because we have very nice weather mostly year round. We also have an art walk once a month, like the first Friday. I think First Friday Art Walk is what it's called. And so it's in the evening downtown, which is also kind of close to the bay, and the galleries will have openings, and there'll be food trucks and different kinds of events in the restaurants. I mean, the museums are open late and things like that. So yes. Number 10, do you prefer the city, suburbs, small towns, or the country? Oh my gosh, the city, always and forever. We are city people. We like to live in a city. We like to go to vacations in another city. And I've always lived in cities and suburbs. I very briefly lived in a small town last year when we first retired and moved down here. We messed up. We moved to a small town because we liked the setting of the house and its proximity to a certain beach, and we thought, oh, this might be fine, and it was near the city we're in now, about 30 miles. We thought, oh, that's close enough. We'll, so we have all this free time, we'll go in. No, we found out that wasn't right at all. We like to be right in the middle. Like, I gotta hear city sounds nearby. I need everything to be like 10 minutes or less from me, door to door, all the things I want to do. I have to be in a city. And rural areas, I am not comfortable in rural settings. I have kind of like reverse claustrophobia. I feel trapped by the nothingness, and I'm like, I need to get back to civilization. It just I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me. I start to hear banjos, and I get nervous. Are there any BookTube videos you have a hard time making? There's there's not a category of videos that are hard for me to make. It's more like that some days I get started to make the video and I just am a blathering idiot and I have to start over a million times. Sometimes in the editing, I just am in despair at my idiocy, and some days I just don't have it. So it's not like the video itself is hard to make. It's me. I'm hard to work with trying to make a video. Yeah, just no, it's bad. I think this is what Priscilla at Evening Reader calls botch videos. Instead of batch videos, sometimes you just start making botch videos, and that strikes me pretty often. Are you interested in local history? That's number 12. Yeah, sure. I like history. I like to learn. I mean, we haven't lived in this city very long, so I am interested to hear historical things, or I like when there's pictures about, well, here's what this area looked like 150 years ago. And so, yes, the answer is I do like local history, and I'm still learning some about this city of Corpus Christi. There is a thing we haven't gone to yet. We keep saying we're going to go. It's this Lexington. The USS Lexington is I think World War II, maybe aircraft carrier. Anyway, it is permanently anchored here. It is a museum. Number 13, what subjects were your favorites in school? English and English and English. I have an undergraduate and graduate degree in English, and then did teaching certification, and then library certification. So, but English that was always it. Obviously with the reading, I also I liked history classes if the teacher was not deathly boring. I mean, history, the subject itself, is great. The presentation could sometimes be lacking. And the science, I'm okay with like the biology kind of science, but no chemistry or physics or nothing mathematical. No math, never ever, no. Number 14. If you could go back in time and change one thing in your life, what would it be? Oh my gosh. Okay, so this could go, boy, you could torpedo your whole video and just go really dark on this one. And I shall not do that. I don't have a super dark answer. Yes, there are many things where, better decisions could have been made. But let's stay on the light side here. And there are things, actual objects in my life that I wish I still had. Like at some point, it seemed like the right time to donate something or put something in a yard sale, and now I think, oh no, I need it back. So like I had an original pair of Air Jordans when they very first came out. But I wish I had them back. I'd either just enjoy having them, or I could sell them and probably make a bunch of money. So why, but back then I was just like, oh, here's some shoes I don't wear anymore, and just donated them or whatever I did. There's a lot of things like that. There's a lot of record albums, when you're a kid, when you're in middle school and high school, and your mood shift or your taste shift, and you're like, oh no, why do I still have all these, disco records? I need to give those away. I want all my records back. I want to put my records in a safer place from the time we had the dog that had a separation anxiety one day and ate records. And I want to hire different movers from the time that we got some and they broke a bunch of the records. So I want all my records back, and I also want all my parents' records. And the last question is, are there any childhood entertainments that you still engage in? Well, I'm still reading. I'm still reading some of the books that I had as a child, and a lot of other books too. But so reading's been a heavy hobby all along, and I'm still listening to those records. What other? I like to play board games, and I always have, and I don't play them very often because of the company I keep. Maybe other people maybe aren't interested in playing a game, but I've always enjoyed that. You can tell from my answers that I'm kind of nerdy and indoorsy. I mean, I did do stuff when I was a kid, like, you know, rode my bike and roller skated. I don't do that anymore. That was the most fun thing that I don't do anymore, was just that era of the roller skating outside and inside and at the roller rink. That I don't know that I want to do it now, but that was probably the most fun thing that I did as a kid that I don't do as a grown up. That and climb trees. Okay, that's the end of the questions. I am going to tag Priscilla at Evening Reader because I don't think she has done this prompt. And I did think of a couple other newer booktubers, but it looks like maybe they've already done it. So I'm gonna say for a specific person to tag, I'm gonna tag Priscilla. So I challenge you to do this video sometime in the near future. And if you have not visited her channel, it is awesome. And she reads books. Her tastes are pretty compatible with mine, but not identical. And she's funny and bright and thoughtful, and the videos have great content. So check that out. And Priscilla, do this tag. And anybody else who has never done it and thinks it sounds like fun, you are also tagged collectively. I hope you have a great day. I will be back with Friday Reads. Please let me know in the comments what you agree with, disagree with, any strong opinions, suggestions, whatever you want to say. Hit me up in the comments and I will see you soon. Bye.